And good morning. We're back at live in the hall at the GMA Annual Convention. I'm Amy Henderson, and I'm joined by Lou Comer and another co-worker, Catherine Fleming.
Hello.
Catherine, you get the honor of working with a lot of our local officials when it comes to going to advocacy and going to the Capitol. And there is an initiative that you are the one who, I guess, helps cities coordinate.
Yes, it's called the Hometown Connection program, and that is where we get our city officials together with their General Assembly members to talk about city issues and get to know each other better.
And what is the purpose of having a hometown connection? Why does it benefit a city or GMA for that matter?
Well, the purpose of a hometown connection is to build relationships. So often I think that as city people, we assume that everyone knows what city issues are and the challenges we're facing and the opportunities, and that's not always the case for our members in the General Assembly. So we invite them to our cities to learn about what we do as city people and to see where they might be able to help us at the Capitol. And so it's to build relationships and to continue to foster opportunities for cities to thrive.
Yeah, Catherine, I know in my work with the cities in Northwest Georgia, several of my cities have had hometown connections, and I think some of them are planning connections for this year. And one thing I always have kind of a struggle with dealing with people asking them to do these hometown connections, they say, but I know my legislators. I see them all the time, I talk to them all the time, but what is it you do at a hometown connection that might be a little more extra, I guess, than just you seeing them around town and knowing them?
Well, first of all, it's great that oftentimes our city officials already have relationships in place with their legislators. That is awesome. What's helpful with a hometown connection is that you invite a GMA lobbyist to come as well, and that way your legislator identifies GMA with your city, so that when they see Marcy or Tom or Justin or Ruchi or Michael or me coming down the hallway, they don't think, oh, there's just another lobbyist. They think, oh, that's my city.
Well, it's sort of like those I think they're AT&T commercials where it's the whole team behind.
Yes.
You know, it's like it's not just you, it's everybody.
Yes, exactly.
So they see you, but they actually see the entire city coming at them too.
And I want to stress too, a hometown connection does not have to be a full day program. I mean, that is fantastic if you take them on a whole tour of your city, but it can also be as simple as sitting down for lunch or for breakfast with your legislator, a GMA lobbyist, and some city staff.
Yeah, and also I understand that some of our cities will invite the smaller cities around them. For example, I know Cartersville, when they have a hometown connection, they try to bring in all the cities in Bartow County so they can speak with a unified voice and they can help their smaller cities have the same
to tell their story as well.
Relevance with the legislators.
Absolutely, and that's also, I think, great for our legislators to see that cities are together and they have similar challenges, and to show that we're a unified front, if you will. I know Blairsville and Hiawassee and Young Harris each year host a joint hometown connection program, and they rotate between which city it will be held in, and it's been really well received.
Now, what cities this year? I know there's been a couple cities this year that have had a hometown connections and others that are planning them.
Tybee Island is planning one coming up in July, and Union City just had one a couple of weeks ago, I believe. So we're really excited.
And I know I heard
it.
from Macon-Bibb County that they're planning one probably, I think they said in August or September. Is there a particular time of year that it's best to do?
Ready to rumble?
That's always fun too.
5 minutes from now, 9:30.
Pause for we're going to keep going through this.
Is there a best time of year to have a hometown connection? Really, any time is the best time. I think a lot of cities try and wait until closer to January when the General Assembly starts, but honestly, everyone waits until November and October to contact their legislators and start laying that groundwork. So I think there's really an opportunity to be doing it earlier. As soon as school starts going back into session, people are back in town.
And this is an election year as well, so there'll be some new legislators who are going to be taking office who may not know as much about the city issues as they do other issues.
And this is just a great opportunity to indoctrinate them, if you will.
Now, also I understand there's a little bit of an effort to try to engage some of our officials at the federal level, particularly their staff, learning more about cities, because there's a lot of federal money and federal benefits that flow to cities.
And we often invite federal legislators or their staff members to attend the Hometown Connection that was held in Rome this past fall. There were representatives from and now I'm blanking on whose office,
Right.
but some of our federal officials were also represented as well.
Yeah, I attended a Hometown Connection in Rome where it was just for their federal legislators, and I specifically remember Tom Graves and his staff being there and how impressed they were with what the city was doing with the money that was coming down from the Community Development Block Grant Program and all the improvements they were making. So I thought that was a great story for Representative Graves to have, because a lot of times I think there's, from the congressional level, we don't want to give anybody any money.
And I think that's a really great point to use the word story, because that's what we're trying to do with these Hometown Connections. We're
It's
trying
to tell your story.
It's to tell your story. It's not just these random bills that are passed in the General Assembly, but tell your city's story. How does it affect you? What are you doing with that, with whether it's those funds or in reaction to a law that's been passed?
And it's an opportunity to show legislators to say thank you to them when your city is doing something that maybe had some state assistance or was a partnership of some kind with state or federal government, to be able to say, hey, look, this is what we did with it, and thank you for your support and your help in that as well. It is important, I think, too. I mean, I think sometimes we talk about the legislature, we think about them in terms of, we need them to fix things, or sometimes we just need to say thank you.
Exactly.
As well. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to hold a Hometown Connection, a city says, hey, this is something we want to do, what do they do?
They can email anyone within GMA, but me in particular, Catherine Fleming. My information is on the GMA website, gmanet.com, and I will help you plan it in terms of figuring out who to invite, when to host it, what kind of agenda you might want to have. I will hold anyone's hand through the process, step by step.
It's interesting to me, we do Georgia Cities Week every year in April, and we have about a little over 100 cities every year that participate in that, and that's awesome. And one of the activities that takes place is some cities do the equipment display, and it's amazing how many adults like to come out and touch a truck,
Yes.
And it's doing that kind of stuff with the legislators. It's like, hey, you want to get in the garbage truck? Here's your chance.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's something about that hands-on experience.
Yes.
You remember it.
Exactly.
You remember it afterwards.
So I hope that we have some more cities doing that this
too.
year, and Catherine will get them in touch with you if they contact any of us.
Please.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Catherine.
And Aileen, back to you.
D2s3 City.